Petri dish, the Petri dish, the Petri dish.
This is
The Petri dish, the Petri dish, the Petri dish. What did you do? Is everything broken?
Next to
This is the Petri dish. There's something growing in here, and I don't know. I don't have one this week of what's growing in here. It's fucking. There's stuff. There's ants. There's ants growing in here. I don't know what's growing to make the ants happen. Fuck it. I gotta clean this house better. That's all I gotta say. I've got a guest this week, guys. I booked an actual guest. More like the guest wanted to be on the podcast, which is new for me. I gotta really convince people sometimes. But guess what? This week we have a special guest who goes by the name of ATK.
Hi, Bobby.
Hello. And so, not to be confused with the murderer, the BTK, who is a serial killer. And I hope you are not a serial killer.
There's no mistake.
Yeah.
There's no mistake.
Yet to be proven whether or not you are a serial killer. But we will see as it unfolds through the podcast.
That is too close to home, but I don't like the BTK killer. I'm more of a Dexter fan.
Okay, I accept that. That seems like a good...
He's way cuter.
I've never seen Dexter, so I have no reference. Again, I don't absorb a lot of media.
You don't watch Dexter?
I don't watch a lot of things. I've been watching episodes of Queer Eye for the past month and just, feeling emotions and then drinking too much coffee and trying to clean the stove. That's...
A guy who watches Queer Eye and who's a straight guy?
Yeah.
That's the funnest guy.
I'm just trying to get tips in, and I'm like, all right, well, I know the French tuck isn't for me, but I got my floral print shirts going on, working on loving myself, so Karama will be proud of me. I'm trying to keep the house clean, so other Bobby, who's in Queer Eye, will be, impressed with my decoration. He wouldn't be. It's terrible in here, really. But, I got 2 other comedians to worry about, so I want it to be comfortable.
I could totally hook you up. I love telling men what to do. You will look all kinds of right.
Nah, I don't want to improve myself that much. I've already done too much and I've regressed too much. What I thought about was signing up my roommate Austin for Queer Eye, and then I just get a free house makeover in it, and then he gets a new wardrobe.
That's a better idea.
Yeah, and then that's too self-serving though. To be like, I just think he would like it better if the walls were like a more neutral gray rather than this brown.
Gray, totally having a girl/gay man moment. Gray is in style. I hate it. The only thing worse than that is that 70s orange. Don't do gray.
70s orange. I got to paint these cabinets too. I want to change up this kitchen. It's a little 90s.
Did you just diss the 90s in front of me?
I did. The 90s, not my favorite. Mostly because I was only 8 at the top of it.
Okay, are you talking about the early 90s?
I don't remember
mid-90s or late 90s?
I don't remember the early 90s because I was just born. Mid-90s, real blur. And then late 90s, really barely any of my memories pre-9/11. I don't even know if they're solidified. I don't have much clanging around in there.
I can't with you.
I think that's mostly just like... I don't know if it's like some sort of weird brain disorder or if I'm just like an aloof and flippant person. I don't record a lot in the brain department, and I really should. I've been working more recently on being like present in moments and trying to give the people around me like the attention they deserve, because I like attention and I like being seen and felt like I'm validated, and I have not been giving that to other people, and it makes me feel bad that I have not been the thing that I want to other people. So I've been trying to work on being like present and showing up for other people for events and other things, and making sure. Like, I was the kind of kid who I wouldn't say thank you in a group if everyone else was saying it, because I was like, they get it. We're all saying it in a group. If the group has thanked them. And I was like, that's kind of a shitty thing to do. And so even now I got to work on gratitude and appreciation. It's a whole fucking mess. My whole brain's a mess.
That action is rude. The not, saying the thank you thing, but I get what your thinking was.
Yeah.
It was an intention of rudeness, even though it was rude.
Yeah.
I have been working on saying you're welcome because I felt like I was being oppressive to other people by saying you're welcome. If I do something for you, you don't have to feel like, in my mind, it was like somebody kind of groveling, unless it was a very flippant thank you or thanks. Mm-hmm. But I am almost to where I am comfortable saying you're welcome.
I still can't say it. I'm the same way where I'm like, of course I was going to do this thing because you asked it of me and I can't say no to things.
You have a problem saying you're welcome too?
Yeah, like people say thanks and I'm like, of course, like, sure. And then I don't ever say you're welcome or, I'll just be like, yeah, no, thank you for acknowledging I exist.
Do people ever give you a weird face or is there a weird silence? What do you get back from that?
Sometimes they'll thank me more because, like, I think they want me to, like, feel it. And I'm like, oh, no, I feel it. I feel obligated to help at all times when asked because I'm a person of action, but only in the parts of acting towards others that I care about. And so when others ask me to do something, I'm like, yeah, it's going to happen because I didn't even think about, I don't know, not helping when asked because I need to. I feel bad when I have to turn things down because I want to always be I always want to be something in people's lives that I feel is imparting part of me to them, whatever it may be,
You're a good person.
Is that what that is? People say that it's... No one's actually told me this. It's a thing that I feel. It's very selfish to be selfless to the point of draining yourself, but I don't know any other way to be.
Well, it's dumb.
Yeah, it's
Bobby.
It's dumb and reckless, really, to just always be like, yeah, I'll go do this thing, and then then they feel bad for asking me because I'm like, yeah, of course I'll help fucking paint your house or whatever, and then they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, I just like hanging out in whatever capacity we can.
I'm so glad that I know you, Bobby. But if you want to think about this logistically, I mean, people I've learned really have a core of what they are that things aren't going to change.
Yeah.
Even maybe some of the behavior will change, but there are things to people's core that they just are what they are. And if you are that person who just wants to hang out, who wants to be helpful, who feels that, uncomfortable, like, I don't need to say you're welcome to you, I'm being a decent person, and that's how things should be. Is if you do drain yourself from helping, from giving, from doing all the fucking things that you're fucking doing all the time, you're not going to be able to help at times down the line when it's really needed.
Yeah.
You don't want to be depleted when it's like, this is action time.
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling that now. Like, this is the first year of my life where I'm like, I've been saying yes to too much shit. Like, I gotta really reel it in before I just...
Well, don't say that when I'm here.
I know. I mean, it's...
When I'm gone, you can say that.
I am very good at one-on-one interactions. I am bad at, like, group activities or, like, going out to events where I'm not the focus. So that's why I do so much entertaining of things, because I like to be the focus. I just know that about myself. But that was another switch I had to make in my head of, I like entertaining because I like bringing joy to others. But then I was letting the validation of others affect me personally, and I had to make that disconnection to go, why do I like entertaining again? And really pull back from that. And so I've been trying to work on my internal locus of control in order to validate myself to then be able to go out and entertain properly and give to others like I want to in entertainment.
It's so paradoxical that you're so generous and loving. Can I say loving? I think that'd be an accurate description. So. Yeah. Loving. And you want to be the focus of attention while so many people, they're loving and giving and don't look at me.
Yeah, I think that's... And that's what I think is weird when people don't want. I mean, people think it's way better. Like, they like it more if someone's like, "Oh, they give to charity," and they don't say anything, and I'm like, but then, like, why? And it's not like I want people to be like, "You gave this much to charity," and then, like, that's displayed on your fucking Facebook or whatever. But it's just like, I don't know. I like to see face to face the people I help, if I help at all. I don't like to just blindly donate money to things or just kind of exist as the specter of giving. Like, I want to be a giving person as me because I like giving.
So you want to be a giving person. You also want credit for what you're fucking doing.
Yeah,
I think that's fair enough.
Yeah, and so I mean, then that's the credit that I try to. I don't know, get from myself now. Like, I need to acknowledge more the things I do for myself. And that's what I was never doing before, is giving myself appreciation. I think I'm figuring this out as I go along, because this is all very new thinking for me.
How new?
I don't know, like, I took a trip to my mom's home country back in March. And that's what I've been talking about on some of the past podcasts, about how that made me realize how stupid I was in thinking that that I don't deserve the validation that I should be giving myself, because I used to think, like, appreciating yourself was like an ironic thing to do. Like, of course people appreciate themselves. Wink, wink. Isn't it funny to appreciate yourself? And now I'm like, oh no, you need to, or else then you'll start devaluing others for associating with you, or you will devalue yourself to the point of not helping anyone, because then you don't think you have anything to offer anymore.
What was this home country that you went to of your mother's?
Laos.
Laos.
Yeah, a little landlocked country in Southeast Asia. Wonderful little super communist country. Oh boy, are they poor, and there are no rules.
Was it scary?
It was a little scary, mostly just because there's no rules on the road.
Ugh.
Yeah, so
what the hell does that mean?
Yeah, the number one rule is don't hit anyone, and then that's it. So it was just like...
They're going to say don't die. Number one rule is don't die.
Number one rule is don't die. Number two, like, don't hit each other, because then if you do, you're going to stop up traffic and more people are going to hit each other, and then somebody might die, which goes back to rule number one, don't die. So traveling around there was real crazy, because it's starting to become a little bit industrialized from, like, the Chinese influences coming in. And they're trying to build, like, huge apartment complexes for people to build, like, tech centers and stuff. And so it's kind of a dangerous place. But it was fun. I liked it. It was nice to see where that side of my blood comes from. I'd like to go back, but not soon.
Not soon.
I gotta learn a little more of the language so that I can not just be hanging out with my mom the whole fucking time.
She speaks it.
Yeah. But she left when she was 14, so she speaks it like a 14-year-old speaks now. Like, they're going to be fluent in it, but they're not going to be getting into, like, philosophical discussions well.
Any temptation to do comedy in Laos?
God, no. One, I think they're the kind of country where if you, like, fuck up even a little bit, no one sees you ever again for a while. Like, there was actually, I was reading before I left, like, there's just some, like, photojournalists that are still just locked up there, and no one really knows why, and the government's like, you don't get to know until they're released. And people
Shut
are
up.
like, when are they getting released? They're like, fuck you, that's when.
That is scary.
Yeah, so I was just trying to keep my head down a little bit and enjoy the family around me.
That sounds like a dangerous place to tell a joke.
It sounds like a dangerous place to even just be me as a noticeable person. And so even just walking around, people would just look at me and just marvel at my size and personality of just smiling at other people.
Like you're not used to people marveling at you, Bobby.
Not in that capacity. And that's what it was. Like, I was used to in the U.S., it feels a little othering, you know?
Othering?
Yeah, you know, like, look at this oddity that exists. It's strange to me. Which is the same, you know, it's the interactions I get with other people where, you know, I have a joke now where a guy just told me I should play rugby. And I was like, fucking why? And he didn't have a good answer.
Maybe you don't want all your teeth. This is Reno.
I asked him, I was like, fuck it, where am I going to play it? And he didn't have an answer. He was like, college. Like, I'm not going to fucking go back to college to play rugby for a team you're not sure exists. It was ridiculous. But, like, they were just like, whoa, there's one of us but big. It was funny to watch.
There's one of us but big?
Yeah, so I was just walking around, and they were like, and I was like, yep.
Did they really do this hand signal?
Yeah.
Like roller coaster?
Yeah,
but
like
just
from their height to then upwards, and then and they would just make noises at me, and I was like, yeah.
Any winks?
I mean,
hey, baby.
There was a lot of random women playing with my hands. Just because they wanted to, like, or like squeezing my arms to just
the arm squeeze is definitely a flirt. The hand thing, I need to hear more about.
Hand thing was also like, you know, they'd start with this, and then they would just start, you know, like feeling my fucking bones and shit.
That's creepy.
Yeah, it was creepy, but kind of validating. I was like, yes, this is all me. I'm here. It's not like a fucking suit. I don't know.
Yeah, I got another hand too, girl.
Yeah, and so it was an interesting time especially because I was drunk so much. Boy, do they love to drink, and I'm good at it. So I was.
Tell me more about this feeling of being validated, feeling that it's validating, this hand caress from strangers, multiple strangers, of multiple women, just when you're caring about your life, living and walking in Laos.
I mean, it was mostly coming from, like, in the places I existed, especially living in South Dakota for my college years, and I wasn't really taking care of myself or trying to dress right or get my hair done or, be stylish at all. So I was kind of just like a lumpy, giant Asian person in
By
the
the way,
Midwest.
listeners, right now he's wearing a very sexy gray getup right now.
Yep,
Not
all
quite
grays.
booty shorts,
It's
but it
neutral.
hugs in the right places.
It's neutral, and I've been hitting the gym real hard. So I mean, these are the clothes that fit me now because all my clothes are too big that I bought for the beginning of spring, which is nice.
Sorry to interrupt
that-
with your
I made that
sexiness.
hard.
Please continue about your validation.
Oh yeah, so like when I lived in the Midwest, I never felt attractive to anyone, which is hard for someone who was going 18 to 24, never feeling attractive to like anybody, and just
Why'd you feel that way?
because no one.
Because you're not whitey white.
Yeah, because I wasn't Midwestern like corn shucking white.
And you're staring at possibly one of the whitest people there ever was.
That happens. That happens. I'm used to staring at white people.
Physically white.
Yeah.
Physically white.
Like I've known a lot of white people. They're wonderful, but they like their own, especially in the Midwest.
It is so true that in certain places of the United States, it is very whitey. I
Yeah.
mean, there's other cultures, with Filipinos, they stick with Filipinos.
Yeah.
I get it, but
And
okay.
that- and that's a lot of cultures, like when you get into the heartlands of any place, they're going to be very insular and into themselves and into their country because they're not world travelers or anything. They're like, yeah, we make life out here because this is where we live. That just makes sense.
How do you identify?
I don't know. I was raised super white.
See, I view you more like a white guy.
Me too. But then living amongst the whites for very developmental years, I was like, oh, I'm not one of them because I can't be. Like, I physically cannot be. And they accept me as a person. They accept me for who I am once
They
they
accept you
know
as a
me.
person?
Yeah.
Did that take argument?
Like, drunk old white ladies would sometimes try to fight me if they thought I was the wrong kind of brown. Like, it was that kind of weird.
I don't understand what you're talking about.
One time, an old white lady accused me of being in Al-Qaeda and tried to, like, fucking kick me out of a bar. Like, it's...
What?
Yeah, like, these people exist, and so... I think I've said this before. I always feel white and like, and accepted by the population until I'm not. Until I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, I forgot.
That's good.
Yeah, and so now I keep that in the back of my mind. I'm like, no, especially after seeing my mom's home country and kind of knowing where I come from, I'm like, no, I am one of them, and they would accept me as one of them if I lived there. But here... I have to craft myself to be who I am, or else I won't be accepted right away by, people.
Craft who you are?
Yeah, I just have to, I have to be, I don't know, acceptable to the populace in whatever way it is.
I kind of get it.
Yeah.
I kind of get it.
I don't know how to verbalize it correctly. Like, that's going to have to be a thing. That's the thing I'm still figuring out. Is going, okay, I know myself as a human with brown skin, but I was raised in the United States. I am an American person. I'm very uniquely American.
Who the hell told you had brown skin?
It's almond colored. It is
Okay.
It's a shade beyond.
Okay.
And I've got a pretty Asian face.
Maybe like an almond when you crack it in half
Hey, I'll take it.
and you left it in the sun to bleach for a little bit. I'll buy that.
I accept that.
I don't know who the hell's calling you brown.
People in the Midwest.
I think I'm totally Norwegian, Swedish, Scotch Irish. Am I browner than you right now?
Nah.
Okay. I thought I was going to win that one.
Nah, I'm like I'm just an other person to some people, and I have to accept that.
An other person?
An other person. Like most people can't place my race, which is fine, but they know like that's not all white, and I'm like, you are correct.
That's not all white.
And, like, the way they approach it nicely is just like, oh, where are you from? And that's a very loaded question from white people.
This is hazelnut dairy cream.
And so, I used to always get like, where are you from? And I'd be like, oh, I lived in Alaska, I lived in Hawaii, I just live here now. And they're like, where are your parents from? I'm like, there it is. That's what they're getting at. Really, like, the question they want to ask, like, why are you brown? Why is your face with the eyes? I'm like, I get it. Yeah. They just, and it comes from a place of wanting to know. Most of the time it's not to be like, why are you here in my town? Why are you here in my comfortable
What
white
are you
place?
doing here, boy?
But it's coming from a place of just like, oh, this is a new person that I recognize as different from me, and they want to associate. But some people are real bad at associating and are better at othering. So it becomes draining after a while to keep answering, where are you from? Because especially in places where I'm like, oh, I'm like in South Dakota, I'd be like, oh, I'm just from here. And they'd be like, what high school did you go to? I'm like, didn't go to high school here. All right, let's unravel this fucking carpet and just walk down the avenues of my life. And so
I have the same thing for that, except mine's a little reverse of yours, where I'm very identifiably white, where I'm naturally blonde, even at 87 years old, and blue-eyed and really light skin. But I've lived overseas as a kid.
yeah.
And I lived in Japan for a little over 2 years. I lived in the Czech Republic for about a year.
Damn.
And then, I just traveled to other countries in between.
Yep.
And when I got back to America, I would make friends more with the kids from outside of the U.S., Puerto Rico, somebody from Nigeria.
Yeah.
I related to them by not relating to just a bunch of other white kids.
Right, because you understood the feeling of, I guess, not being displaced, but feeling like there's like the community that exists in the U.S. in whatever it is not yours. You are a citizen of the world in whatever capacity. And so you understand others in the capacity that they don't belong. But now that you belong, you're like, I don't with them, though, because they are different in a way. And I always wanted to hang out with those kids, and that's what I used to do. I used to hang out with white kids because I like punk rock and fucking...
I was thinking because they were there.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of hanging out with white kids because they were the majority. But, I had a multicolored group of friends because we all gravitated towards each other knowing that, yeah, we don't belong in a lot of places. So let's band together and just be who we are. It was nice.
I say this for, I guess, the last several years, but not my whole life, because I didn't know how to identify where you're from, okay? I grew up in the South, like the South, up to age 9. And then I moved to the Chicago area, which is very different. And the South is where, decades ago, it's more whitey to whitey, and we don't want anything different outside of us because it's invading.
Yep.
Well, I think there are definitely more people now where this is interesting outside of that. I'm intrigued. And maybe I'm fucking bored.
Yeah, that's a lot of people.
I'm not somebody who wants to do the same little bullshit all the time. And if you do like the same bullshit all the time, you are so lucky to be that dumb, to need so little to be amused or comfortable. Good for you. But not everybody is that dumb. No offense. But I'm really more like, I'm not from California. I'm not from Texas. I'm an American with European tendencies.
Okay. That's a way to put
I
it.
do curb a number of my European tendencies around most Americans.
Which is a fun thing that people in the ethnic communities call code switching, which I love.
I never heard that. Code switching?
Code
Tell
switching,
me.
it's like when a black person has white friends and they talk white, and then when they're with their black friends, they talk like their black friends talk, And so it's one of those things where, like, when you are with the group that you're comfortable with, you can talk in their, tongue of what you have. But when you're like in a business place, then you talk white. You talk like how you talk the business talk of white voice, And so people have that where especially in little communities of people. Like, I know I can talk different with comedians than I can with the general populace. Yeah.
I think that might be the most extreme version of anything.
Because you can say whatever the fuck you want to comedians. Sure, like, even some comedians will be like, that's too fucking far, but they're not going to be like, let's send you to jail. They're going to be like, nope, not that one.
You won't likely be ostracized.
Yeah.
Well, for people who aren't comics. I'm a baby comic. I'm not new to being funny. But I'm newer to stand-up comedy. And, I mean, the things that some of us would say outside to comics is another people would never talk to us again.
Yep.
Like, never talk to us again.
There are things I've said on this podcast where afterwards I'm like, I'm so glad not that many people listen to this podcast, because I would not get away with that if my listener base wasn't either comedians or people comfortable with the way comedians talk.
You dirty, dirty, dirty boy.
Oh, man. And it's fun. That's what I like, is the freedom to express yourself in that capacity, which is a form of code switching, with saying, here's where I'm comfortable, but when I'm out and about in the regular world, I have to tone down who I am, because some things about myself may not be acceptable to the rest of the populace. So you dial it back, and I know, it's a weird thing to have. And most people think of it as, like an ethnicity-based thing. But, I have conservative friends who know when they're in a public place, they have to dial back their conservatism because, it's not popular to be Republican anywhere. But, I lived in the fucking Midwest. So I have those friends, and there's a lot of nice people who are just, they grew up in the church. They want to look after the farmers. Sure, a lot of them have voted wrong in the past, but they're voting based on their life experiences and the views that they are looking to express. And so, I get that, and I can tell.
Did you notice the coding that Bobby was just doing there, everybody?
Yeah, and that's code switching that I'm
was
doing
happening
for my conservative friends. You're welcome. You're seen. You're valid. Don't move to my state.
It was like you were going across the field, and you're like, landmine, skip. Landmine.
Oh, I talk shit.
I
talk shit all the time. It was about mostly just about rich white dudes, and you're gonna fucking hurt yourself. There's the mead bottle out. We got some mead flowing.
I helped myself. He's like, I've got all this stuff, and I just took it out of his hand.
Hey, it's the way to do it, because I haven't been drinking it because I've been trying not to drink. It's unhealthy.
I'm really just trying to help you, Bobby.
It's good. Yeah, get rid of some of it, because it's really weighing down the door of my fridge, and I don't want to break it, because that fridge is only a year old, and I can't have it shitting the bed on me. I was just going to get like a shitty, so when I bought this house, there was no fridge, and that was just part of the deal. And I was like, okay, whatever, fuck it. Everything else is here. And so I had to buy a fridge, and I was like, maybe I'll just get like a used one from an apartment complex. And then I went gambling with my mom, because, I feel like whenever I need something from the universe, it just provides through gambling. And so I went gambling, hit a royal flush, ended up with $1,200 that I didn't expect having. And I was like, new fridge it is. And so, I got the one with the crushed ice and the regular ice and the water, and hooked it all up, because I like nice things.
I gotta say, that's exciting to hear somebody be like, I won this amount, and then I just got this thing I wanted.
It's the reason I don't have glasses anymore.
What are you talking about?
Last year, I used to wear glasses, and then I went gambling, and I was like, I'm thinking about LASIK. Won $5,000. And I was like, I can afford LASIK now.
All right, everybody. See, this is the kind of karma that Bobby deserves. And he is looking crazy hot with his glasses on. He was cute with the glasses, don't get me wrong, but looking fine now.
Now I don't have the head indents anymore. They finally popped back out, and I can have just regular face again. But yeah, I feel like cosmically there's something there for me. So I don't know. I didn't grow up religious at all. I don't know what exists in the world.
You were in South Dakota and you didn't grow up religious?
I didn't grow up there. Like I was in Alaska before that, and then Hawaii before that, and then Alaska before that. But I was born in Illinois, and so my family.
You were born in Illinois?
Yeah.
Okay.
My family wasn't religious. My mom was kind of Buddhist, but then she switched to a weird kind of Christian somewhere after my parents' divorce when I was 10.
Weird kind of Christian?
Yeah, but I never grew up thinking God will provide or anything. I was
You
like,
never went to church or anything like
no,
that?
not at all. Like,
Not once?
No. Well, I went once or twice, like with my friends, and they're like, I got to go to church, and I'm like, I still want to hang out. Let's go to church. But it was always from that observing perspective. I'm like, okay, this is what people believe. Interesting. I like that they're saying kind things right now.
Get ready to drink the blood. Welcome to our church.
That was my favorite part. Okay, so I got invited to a church. It was actually like a year ago now, and I made my roommate Austin go with me because I was like, I'm not going to go to church by myself. Let's go to church, you fucking heathen. And so we just went to church on Sunday.
Heathen.
Yeah, and then we had the blood of Christ, and we ate of his body, and they had the whole sing-along portion, and I was getting into it because I love singing, so I was standing up with the rest of them. I put my hand over my heart, and I was like, blessed be the name of the Lord. Yeah, because I like ceremony, and I like, I don't know, performance, and I like ritual, and so I like that part of religion to get people together and say, hey, here we are, unified, thinking positive things. This is nice, positive energy to the world. Let's spew it all forth. And so when it's about that, I can enjoy that.
You're so adorable.
And so that's all I can really believe in, is the idea that positivity exists, and the more you have it, the more it'll exist. Like, humans, there's no such thing as perpetual motion. Like, we can't have things that go on forever, except the energy of positivity can flow forth infinitely.
I want to punch you in the face.
I know. I'm that flavor of hippie, but I know that is cheesy as shit, but I'm cheesy as shit. So I try to wrap it in like an acceptable form for the rest of humanity. To be like, hey, fuck you. Life is pretty cool.
See, you're better than the rest of us. It's fucked up that I have this feeling. I'm like, shut the fuck up. I'm gonna punch you.
I know, and that's why I think I'd be a great cult leader.
I would be a great cult leader.
Yeah.
Hey, Bobby, I need your help with something.
Okay.
Cult number one, right here.
I'm just, I don't know what I believe except for just. I don't even think be nice. Like, it's okay to be mean to people sometimes. Some people deserve it, and sometimes it's okay to express your negative feelings because they have to go somewhere.
Is that difficult for you?
No, I'm pretty good at being angry, actually.
Are you good at being mean?
Yeah, I'm actually really good at it, but I'm always so smiley, and also when I'm in a nervous situation, or really when I feel any emotion, it'll turn into laughter or happiness or something.
Give me an example. Let me have it. Right
Let's
now.
See.
I know it's difficult to find anything about me that is unappealing.
I don't know. Like, I don't.
How about these shoes? I'm wearing some wild shoes right now. I'm wearing some of the tallest heels that I have right now. Normally,
they're very shiny, like stripper leather shoes. Like, it is excessive. There's there's wedges on the toe. That's how you know it's a lot, because they're beyond just the heel.
Yeah, these are definite pole grippers.
It's a choice. I couldn't do it.
Oh, shade. It's a choice.
It's a choice.
Giving me that queer-eyed bitchiness to my face. See, I said mean. I didn't say shade. I said mean.
You're imparting that judgment onto me. I'm just making a perception with what I see in front of me, and I don't want you. You do you. I don't want to make any not dispersions. I don't fucking know. I don't want to disparage anything of the choices you're making. I think everyone is allowed to live their life in whatever capacity they want, as long as it doesn't affect others.
What am I doing right now, Bobby?
Oh, you're just making a face at me with your tongue out and your eyes are crossed a little bit, and you're petting Nikki, which is a good thing. So even now,
I was yelling at her daddy, and doggy Nikki came over, and guess what? She came to me. She came to me.
It's because she knows if she comes to me, I will tell her to go away, because she unplugs all my shit every time.
Yeah.
And I yell at her.
You're a good girl.
Now she only goes to the guests. Yeah. There's plenty of podcast audio of me going, get the fuck out! Back up!
I'm not going to hurt your daddy while you're here. Don't worry, honey.
That's what you think.
Go lay down. Good girl.
We're going to fight later. I don't know. I can be angry about stuff, probably. I don't know.
I have no shame. I will come from behind.
Okay. Like, to stab me?
Just you wait, Bobby.
Okay.
This is ATK. You don't know what
right.
I'm going to do.
That's right. One better than the BTK. I'm just gonna get bound, tortured, and killed, or whatever. I don't know what BTK actually stands for.
Bound, torture, kill.
Yeah, okay, good. I was close enough. Man, I used to listen to a lot of serial killer stuff, but then I just got bored after a while because I'm like, they're all the same. And I know they're not. Like, the psychology is different, but like, if I'm going to judge anybody, I'll totally judge serial killers. I'm like, they're all the same amount of weirdo. Just like mass shooters, I'm like, yeah, they're all just white kids they try to have the frameless glasses so they're not making a choice about their face. So that's why they also have the bowl cut or the shaved head, because then they're not making that choice. And then they're...
You said if I'm going to judge anybody, it's going to be serial killers.
I don't like to judge. I'm not a judging person because I don't like to put whatever my baggage is onto others, even in the form of judgments. Fuck, it's so lame when I say it out loud.
You just sound better than the rest of us.
I don't even know that it's that. I don't know. I feel selfish about it. I'm like, I don't want to judge others because I don't want to make them feel like I'm doing something. I
don't want to do anything wrong ever, and I'm sorry that I feel that way.
I do wrong shit all the time, sometimes while it's recorded, but I do it purely for the fun of it, and I hope it comes from a loving place.
I'm wrong at times that I think that I'm wrong, because I was right.
I'm so glad to be roasted about this, because no one else, I mean, I guess maybe Sam said that he was mad that I'm getting so positive. He says it's ruining hanging out with me because he's just like, I just want to talk shit and say awful things. And I was like, me too, but also we got not so much.
Sam's good enough at that by himself.
He's so good at it, and that's why I like having him around, because he sees the world. You know, he sees the world and then he judges it and then makes his views on that. And I'm just like, I just want all things to exist so I can take them in and see what, people can do.
With Sam, with his stand-up that I've seen, obviously he's a funny guy, and I've seen other professional comedians where I'm like, why isn't Sam here? He's so much better than XYZ comedian. He would so be taming this audience. And my experience with you and your comedy is you immediately like you. People are going to immediately like you. And for the stuff that I heard, I hadn't heard it other places. And I like seeing you enjoy yourself. Now, I'm not in any way saying that if you're like, you know what, I've hated what I've done for some reason, or you want to totally flip and change and be something different. But my experience has been, I like this guy right away, this Bobby Benedict, and I am enjoying to see this person enjoy what they're talking about. Well, Sam is enjoying bitching. Yeah. Sam Corbin enjoys bitching, and it's enjoyable to listen to him bitch.
Thank you for your kind words. And that's one thing that I was talking about with Sam, like our stage personas, because people like me and they don't like when I go blue or when I'm super negative, because I have to kind of build that with them first, because then if they see me be mean, they're like, oh, that's out of character for this person I just met.
That's just how it is, too. You know what I mean? That's not just you. That's how people have known you, and all of a sudden there's that...
Yeah, and so I've been trying to say less bad words so I can put less negativity into my words, and I just try to only have the words mean what I want them to mean, if that makes sense.
What words?
I don't know. Any of the words that I say. I still love tossing fuck into everything because I'm a product of the late 90s and early 2000s.
And white people.
We just love sprinkling profanities all about, because it's just fucking fun, man. But
so, are you doing replacement words or just not saying?
I'm just
naughty
not saying
words?
it. I'm just trying to be more direct with my speech. Was another thing I was trying to do is I've kind of parsed out my vocal tics a little more. There's a lot of knows and kind ofs and qualifiers and sometimes and one of these days, and it's one of those things. Lots of those verbal tics that soften whatever I'm about to say so that I don't have to seem like I'm saying them when I am.
Are you doing that for yourself, or are you doing that for other people?
I'm doing it for me because I think words matter, and I think they have a power. people like to say that they don't, and like, don't let people's words get to you. But they matter. Words and the things we say matter, and they should matter, because humans evolved speech for a fucking reason. Because communication is what we need to do to have society. And if we don't communicate clearly and properly, we don't have a proper society. That's at least the foundation that I think we should be building on, is proper communication, not bound by expectation, but by listening and perceiving and not judging, but I don't even know what the other word for it would be.
I think that words, speech, when it comes to emotion, is very much like the earth, that there's soft ground, there's hard ground, there's rock dirt, and there's swampland, just as it applies to people. Sometimes it is, okay, somebody said this, it doesn't matter. And then there's other things that are really harmful. There are comedians who think that it is okay to say whatever about anything.
Yeah.
And I'm a baby comic, but I've certainly had humor in my life, and I've certainly been funny much of my life. And for whatever value it is, I disagree with it. I don't think it's okay to joke about whatever at any time. For the audience, there's a different experience.
Yep.
There's a different experience for the comic that the audience doesn't get. And it's okay. The audience doesn't need to get it. They're there for a show. They're there to be entertained.
Yep.
And the comedian has their own reasons. Not everybody's the same. For me, I want it to be a good time. I don't want it to be harmful. If there's another comedian who's saying, I'm just going to say what I'm going to say because as a comedian, I should be able to say whatever, whenever, about whatever, I'm not going to tell them they can't do it. Do I think it's okay? Obviously not.
And that's one of the things that I'm all coffee-throated. That's one of the things that I think is, there we go, softening everything. None of that sentence that I just said before that is matters at all. I think that free speech, First Amendment, whatever that means to people use that as a shield, and they use comedy as a shield to be shitty instead of the inverse. You should be funny first. People use comedy as the defense to hurt others for no reason other than to feel the joy of that. And that's what I don't enjoy.
That is so perfectly said.
And so that's why when people say, people cry free speech like the words even mean anything
Don't act like
anymore.
you're not an asshole.
Exactly. Just, I want people to be upfront with who their personalities are. Don't say that free speech matters to you because you want to say shitty things. It should matter to you for the other people that think you shouldn't say shitty things. And you should be able to have whatever discussions on those. But then they try to shut down discussion by saying, I get to say whatever I want. You don't get to say anything. No, that's not how free speech works.
It's rough for me as, kind of the FNG, to say some of these opinions, because it's like, who are you?
Yeah.
Just coming around. I'm ATK, go fuck yourself.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna say what I say, but there is, there are comedians that I really enjoy. Like, I know he's been around for a long time, is Jim Norton.
Yep, I love Jim Norton. He does it right, where he is pissed off about things, and he has reasons for being on stage and a story to tell, and he can be a dick about stuff, but he's coming from a place of knowing and wanting to know more and wanting to grow and wanting to let people know what the world holds. And that's what I respect about him.
Yeah, he's totally funny. If you look it up on YouTube, there's the Would You Rather with KFC unaffiliated with the chicken, that comedians and special guests answer these impossibly stupid, ridiculous questions. Like, would you rather be blind or would you rather be dickless? Would you rather get a hand job from your grandma, or would you rather get a blow job from your grandma? That's the stuff that the guys get. And then, there's some things that women get that are hard, but there's some in between. Some of the in between is like, how much money would it take to give a world peace? Stuff like that. I think that one's harder to be funny. They're all pretty hard, but Jim Norton did 2 of them, and he blasted everybody. He was fast. He was so funny. I didn't even know that much about him in the first place to have the bias of him, to think, if Robin Williams, everything he's going to do almost after is brilliant and funny because it's freaking amazing Robin Williams. But I wanted to get to know more about him when I saw him on the Would You Rather question. So funny. He is one of the comedians that thinks it's okay to pretty much say anything.
Yeah.
But I have seen him be pretty damn fair in discussion about it. As a FNG comic, as somebody who enjoys him, I feel very uncomfortable saying it, but I do think this is the sort of thing that needs to be said. And if you have something to say about it, cash me outside.
I've seen a lot of things from comedians I respect that I didn't expect their view to be. And
right?
On the subject of, like free speech or any of those things. And Jim Norton was one of the ones where once I kind of heard his stance on, like comedy is comedy, that's sacred, but there are certain lines you don't cross in the world, in society, that's shitty to do. So it's not that we think your free speech should be taken away, it's we think you're an asshole, and that's bad, and you should want to fix that. And that's one of those things that I respect about him. He's like, it's not about speech or anything. It's that you're a dick and we don't like you. The end. Fucking fix that. And so that's one of the beautiful things.
And you're not funny.
Yeah, like, number one about comedy, fucking be funny. And so that's why when comedians say, like, oh, it's a joke they're working on, some people, I'm like, you're a professional comic. You should know a little bit by now that the thing you said is not funny enough to carry the bullshit you just said.
Oh, yeah.
And so when I see new comics...
And that's the perspective of a comic coming from you. The audience is like, what?
Yeah. So when I see new comics trying to be edgy for the sake of thinking, haha, the audience knows that I can say the N-word whenever I want. Like... As a comic, I go, I don't fucking care what you're going to say on stage. Call people names, be super fucking racist if that's honestly who you are. But if it's if it's for the sake of dishonesty to make people uncomfortable and not for the sake of comedy, because I know comedians whose entire thing is let's make the audience uncomfortable because that's funny. Andy Kaufman children. That's fine if you're doing it for the sake of the laughter.
I'm still listening to you. I just have to adjust my boobs,
people.
But
That's
keep
fine.
Talking.
And so when people come to
so much pleasure.
When people come to comedy in the place of not respecting the art form as it exists, it comes off as disingenuous when they're mean. And so not only is their ill will not in the right place, like if you're gonna be mean, be mean. But if they're coming from a place of dishonesty, even from their emotions of being mean or being, making people uncomfortable, like if I don't believe them, why are they doing it? It's the same thing I see with a lot of comics, right? Like a lot of the new comics around Reno right now are trying out the whole like Bill Burr rant style of comedy where they
I love Bill Burr. I love him.
But they do it wrong. They come in and they're like, here's my hot opinion, here's this thing. And I'm like, you're not comfortable on stage. Like, you're not comfortable crafting jokes. You're not comfortable with any part of this. So their opinion comes off as so crafted and disingenuous, I can't laugh because what are they going to do? They're going to say an odd sequence of adjectives and nouns together? Cool. Do you
think it's that they need more practice or they're just going about things wrong?
They think they have the formula right and they're going about it wrong. And, again... why are you pissed off about this thing? Like, I used to have a stupid joke that I don't do anymore because it was coming from a dishonest place of why, like, do I actually care about this at all? Do I have any feelings toward this? No. And it was this whole idea that there's some animals are weird. God crafted them like a World of Warcraft developer who accidentally let the humanity into the development area, and now we have narwhals and giraffes and fucking weird ass animals. Which, like, ha, cool. Why did I waste 5 minutes on that? I don't care about the view of video games. I don't care about animals. I don't care about religion. I'm not making a commentary on any of it. None of it is my feelings. I thought the sequence of words would be funny.
I think that you're likable enough that people could give that a pass. But people who don't know comedy so much, failure is unavoidable. Even if you're good.
I tell everyone comedy's like 80% failure. Like, most of the time it's either you're getting rejected for things, your comedy isn't, like, most of your jokes aren't that funny, so you better have at least one good one while you're up there. It's a lot of failing, but you'll know when you do good because the audience is there. And even if they laugh, a good comic will know that wasn't it. They were laughing.
That wasn't a real laugh.
Yeah, that's why I had to stop doing the Pioneer so much last year before Wayne stopped calling me. I just stopped doing it because I'm going, they're just laughing because I'm here and they seem to like me and I came out hot with energy. You know, they're laughing at the rhythm of comedy. They're not laughing at my jokes at all.
Thank God you're likable.
Yeah, and that's I can get by on personality most of the time, which is nice to go on stage, be comfortable, and just be able to point at people and finger guns in silence and get a fucking laugh. But it's too easy, and I feel like
that's nice in life.
Yeah.
As a performance is a different thing.
It feels disingenuous, and and I go so much for emotional honesty in whatever art I'm creating that when I can just get by, I don't like it. I don't like the status quo. I do.
And why would you?
Yeah, and I do enjoy being comfortable. I enjoy not putting labels on the things that I do and not shoehorning, but just kind of boxing myself in. But at the same time, it's good to know the rules before you break them. I think that's one of the things I learned in college about writing. Because a lot of people would have incorrect grammar structure or wrong words in places, or it's excessively wordy.
Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Got away with it, though.
And those things are fine if you know why you're doing it. Like, if you're doing it for a point. Like, if somebody's joke is supposed to be the repetition of something over and over again because it's funny to keep saying this sentence because the sentence is important and you want to drive that home, and then you keep doing it because it's funny, rather than somebody just saying over and over again their whatever punchline they think didn't hit, so they keep saying it.
Who hasn't done that before?
And it's a tough line to walk.
You learn from it. You definitely learn from it. Hello, this. I'm gonna try again, and then once more. Still not funny? Okay, fuck it.
And I will always respect commitment to a bit. I hate when people don't commit to their jokes. And that's another thing that I don't respect in some comedians is they'll have some harsh opinion or they'll have some joke that they think needs to be said until the audience doesn't react and they'll bail on it. And I understand bailing on something if you're bombing, but if it's going to be a harsh subject or something that you think is your genuine opinion that you wanted to get across and you think it's funny, just fucking do it. Like, state your fucking business when you're on stage.
Bomb fantastic.
Exactly. Like, just believe in yourself so that at least if you bombed, you weren't fucking half-assed about it. Bomb with integrity. That's all I can say.
Some people can, more or less get off by seeing the big bomb instead of just the pew. Mm-hmm. You want to see the boom.
Yeah, seeing a comic fizzle and then just quit is super depressing. Because then you're like, oh, they aren't.
You crumple inside yourself. You feel terrible for them at times, if you like them. Or if you at least don't like them, I think.
But some of the hardest I've laughed is watching some of my favorite comedians in the area. Like, watching Sam Bomb is some of my favorite because he, of course, is that, he's opinionated and he's trying to say something and he will commit to his jokes.
Yeah, you can see the commitment, Sam.
And so him going through it will make me laugh so much, because if it's not working, it makes me laugh that he is still sticking with it, because he knows this joke works other places and he's gonna say it. And I've seen him quit on ones and I'm like, come on, there's more to that bit. You
Are you in the crowd?
Always.
Are you like laughing by yourself?
Yes, I will be in the back of the room with my loud ass laugh. He's bombing his dick off to no laughter. And comedians know when they're being laughed at and not with. And that is even better, because it'll be like joke, silence, and then me just like... I was doing that at the library a lot on Wednesday. People were just going up, things aren't working, and I'd be like...
I can't tell if that's hilarious to other people or if you're a dick.
It's funnier to other people, because then they think like, oh, there's something going on here. And if I don't like you, I just won't laugh, like, at all, ever.
Fuck you face.
Yeah,
Quiet, fuck you face.
and it's a personality
Can I see that fuck
thing.
you face?
There isn't one. It's just neutral. Like, you don't register here at all. It's
shade.
like that person makes no effect on me.
Shady Bobby.
And so if I like you enough to laugh at your failure, you can talk to me. Like, we're good. I know it hurts, but it's funny. You can laugh at me bombing, but I don't fucking do it because I'm a goddamn professional.
Doesn't happen.
Yeah, no, I bombed my dick off on Thursday. It was funny. There was like, the audience was leaving in the middle of it. I was just running through jokes that were kind of new, and
It was new jokes? Is that what happened?
It wasn't all new jokes. It was a lot of prepared stuff. It's stuff that I'm trying to restructure and feel again. And, in the middle of it, I just started fucking around, because I was like, these jokes are not working. I am doing bad. I sat on it was a footstool on the stage, and I just sat on a tiny footstool and talked about it. I was like, I enjoy when comedians get all comfortable and sit down on stage, and this seems like the wrong way to do it. And I just wanted to live in the moment of that bomb in the worst way possible. So I did. I wanted to viscerally feel it, because I wasn't having a good night anyway. So I was just like, you know what? I'll go on stage. I'll do terribly, and I'll remember this. I will feel it, and I will feel something, and that'll be nice.
You know, speaking of sincerity in comedy, I don't want to talk about dating in my comedy ever. I get it's a popular topic. I get that if it wasn't in, comedy, it'd be like, why are people missing out on this very relevant life happening?
Yeah.
But I don't ever want to talk about it. That's, to me, it's boring. I mean, there's other people that there are times where I'm like, okay, that was funny, or I enjoyed that.
And there's always people that have probably done it better. Like, anything you've experienced, someone's probably experienced it and done a better joke about it at this point.
They probably care about it more than I do.
Exactly. And so that's why I guess I've been doing more material on at least being single and stuff, but more in the way
and that's different. That is totally different.
And it's more just reflecting on myself of why I think I'm in my current state, which is you have to make it personal, and that's why there's a lot of subjects, but people can make it personal because if it happened to them, it happened to them. Sure, but there's things that I just don't think need to be talked about anymore,
I would talk about like a date from like my past where there was a guy who had some terrible accident with his right thumb. He was this boring old rich guy who owned like a vineyard or something like that a friend set me up on without me even knowing about it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. She was married to a super old guy. She was younger than me. She was married to a guy literally 30 plus years older than her. Like a gross older amount. And it's not like, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, was older, but he's fine, So out of nowhere, there's this old dude sitting next to me at this restaurant that I'm looking forward to see in Southern California. And the guy shows me his thumb that has hair growing out of it. And it's not like wispy little, like, I don't know, baby chin hair. Like, this is some thick-ass spider leg hair growing out of this man's right thumb.
He has arm hair coming out of his hands.
It wasn't arm hair. Ugh. This man had an accident on his thumb, had a graph of his butt cheek put on his thumb that he showed me over my cheesecake, my New York style cheesecake. He showed me the ass hair that was growing on his thumb. I'll talk about that one.
Yeah, because that is a very unique experience other than just like this person had no personality. You know, like there's so many things that I don't like talking about on stage because it's been so done, and that is, you know, like
boring.
dating,
Blah, 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 blah.
airports and airplanes. Like that's been fucking done to death by every comedian because comedians travel. So what are they going to talk about? They're going to talk about hotels. They're going to talk about airplanes and airports, and they're going to talk about local city references, which honestly, at the end of the day, most local city references are all the fucking same. You can kind of just cut and paste like, oh man, whatever street's really full of hookers. He understands us. You know, like, ugh.
And it's light, though. It's light.
And so, like, watching that happen at the Pioneer, like, day after day, to just pander that hard for, like, the first 10 minutes of their set, I'm like, ugh.
Speaking of hookers, when I first came over to see Bobby and he saw the shoes that I was wearing, he gave me this, like, uh-oh face.
Like hooker boots.
Like,
there it is.
I'm concerned.
No, I don't judge.
But then his dog liked me, and it was okay.
Yeah, Nikki's a pretty good judge. Not really. She loves everybody, and I've had some pieces of shit in this house. Not really. I don't like to associate with people I don't like. That's just what it is. Is, you know, a lot of people are always wondering, you know, what I think about other people, and I'm like, if I don't like people, I just don't fucking talk to them.
I
just don't.
Healthy.
Yeah, and so if I don't talk to you, we're probably not that cool. If I don't talk to you, though, that doesn't mean we're not cool. I just don't honestly like interaction right now. It's not my favorite.
Because you don't like them?
No.
Or are you talking about times you don't want interaction?
Just in general, like especially at open mics. Like I used to love to hang out and talk with everybody, but right now I kind of just go there like it's the gym. Like I got to go there, I got to get done with my comedy, and then I'm gonna go home. It's just it's working out to me. It's going there and.
Do you think the workout was worth it?
Honestly, for a while, I wasn't even sure that comedy was worth it anymore, and it sometimes. It isn't. And that's the thing about comedy is technically...
It's the failure.
Yeah, really, comedy isn't worth it. At the end of the day, sure, it's a valuable thing to have, and comedy is always great, but it shouldn't rule your whole fucking life. Like, I get it, as comics, we're supposed to be all about comedy, because if you don't, you're not gonna make it in the biz. But like, you gotta have a life outside of comedy, or else your comedy becomes shitty. If you don't live the life around you, how are you gonna make observations about it?
That seems like a pretty simplistic equation.
Yeah.
But you see otherwise?
Yeah.
Sounds pretty boring. See, I'm very anti-boring. If you want to be boring, go knock yourself out, but I don't want anything to do with it.
I don't know. Some people are really good at being boring in their day-to-day lives, but their craziness in their commitment to comedy and the way they observe the world makes the little things they see totally fine. Oh no, this shit's all busted.
I'm busting shit up here, dude. I'm making myself too comfortable. I have two of his chairs. He's looking at the bottom of my feet on my hooker boots, which I did not pay full price for, by the way.
Hell yeah.
I
Make yourself comfortable.
This is one of my favorite things to do is by my mom's place in Napa County. I know there are sex workers who, and it's a nice area though, you know what I mean, that they're like, oh, I've worn these shoes once or twice, I'm going to donate them.
Sweet. And
they go resale, and so I have thousands of dollars worth of shoes that I may have paid $400 for. I love it, and there's new ones all the time, and I'm like, yeah, she got a new daddy, and I got some new shoes. I like it. Do your thing, honey.
Hell yeah. I don't know. I don't have any reference on sex workers. I don't have any friends or anything that.
I'm gonna check your closet and see your shoes.
They're all just piled up in the front of the fucking house. It's mostly just New Balances and Crocs. Oh,
Crocs.
There's some dress shoes. I like to wear dress shoes out and about now, just because.
You know what? I want to hear more about you talking about being single.
Oh man.
I'm feeling very comfortable being single, which I think so many people aren't. You know what I mean? There's a few people who are happy in their relationship. A few people. And then there's a lot of people who are like, I want to be fucking single again. But if they're single again, they're like, really what I want is somebody else. But occupy so much of my time. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
not just sitting twiddling my thumbs and being like, oh, what's your experience? Where is Bobby Benedict at?
I don't know. I was single for most of my life. I'm mostly single most of the time, but I really
Me too.
I really enjoy relationships. I like having another person, and I think that comes from the whole getting so much validation from others all the time in performance, but not having the connection of love and affection, and which I like.
Which is a hell of a difference.
Yeah, and so sure, I can get attention anywhere, and it's not that I want someone's attention. I want to share life with someone, because I don't know. Maybe that's just like a weird DNA thing where I'm like, I want to be partnered.
Yeah,
with
you're a fucking
something.
weirdo, Bobby.
Yeah, and so
You want love, you fucking weirdo.
It's not that I don't like being single. I very much enjoy doing the things I do, and I like having autonomy and the freedom to just be like, fuck it, road trip by myself, fucking whatever.
Is that a shout out to me?
It is, because you fucking did it. You made it all the way out here. But
It felt good too.
I don't know what it is. I don't know why I think I can't do that in a relationship. Like, yeah, when you're in a relationship, you can just fucking.
You can't.
I feel like with the right person, you just gotta discuss it first, or whatever. I don't know what I want out of a relationship really, and I think that I don't really think that I do want anything out of one, which is probably the problem. I guess I do. The end game is like I want to have a family at some point, because I think I'd be good at it, and that's fulfilling to me to have, offspring in some way. But also, I don't want to be. I guess I don't want to be beholden to another person that doesn't understand me, and so it's a tough search to just find someone who wants to be in a relationship, but is also fine. Not only with possibly being talked about frequently, because that's the thing, is finding somebody who is okay with sharing my life in the way that I have it, which is constantly talking about it all the fucking time. And so other people that exist around me already know they probably get talked about a little bit if they're important to me. If not, like if I'm in a relationship with somebody, they're part of my day-to-day now. Whether that be if we're even physically together or not, I'm going to be thinking and or talking about that person. And
It sounds adorable.
yeah, I was looking it up recently because my buddy sent me a thing about people with ADD, which I think I have. I don't fucking know. I don't trust doctors. But I'm pretty sure I have ADD, and then he sent me this thing about being a hypersensitive person. Not just hypersensitivity, but being a hypersensitive person, which means that there are certain things in the world that can set you off. Some people associate that with, like, the autism spectrum of just, like... physical like noise or lights and being sensory overload. That's also an anxiety thing to some people, but I have emotional sensitivity, and so I feel like I'm very empathetic to other people. Like I can kind of read people's auras, fuck me, but I can kind of gauge energy level of other people.
That.
Yeah, I can kind of feel energy level of other people, and that affects me. If someone's angry, I'm excited and want to be angry with them. If someone's sad, I will sit down in the sadness with them. If somebody is excited and happy, I want to fucking celebrate with you. I will mire myself to your emotions because I also feel them, even though that doesn't seem like a thing people can do. I feel them if I'm attached to you.
That sounds very, very draining.
It is, but it's just the way I feel emotions.
I feel you.
And so people don't understand, like they say things like, why do you care? You got to not do these things because you're going to drain yourself. You have to detach yourself from this thing. I'm like, I can't. It's the way I feel. And not just the way I feel emotionally I'm feeling right now. It's the way I physically and or emotionally feel in general. It's the way I feel like antenna around the world. I exist emotionally. It's just what I fucking do. And it's how I process. And so to not feel would mean I'm lost. Would mean that I'm not going, you know?
You're not living?
Yeah. If I'm not feeling, I'm not
You're suspended.
processing. I'm just going about, which is the thing that I think I did for a long time, which is why my memories are kind of fucked up, because I would just think, I don't need to feel right now, and so I would just not exist. I would just not be thinking about people and existing, and so now I'm trying to feel more. I'm trying to actually actively feel with others, because if I don't make memories. It's weird.
So when you are not existing, would it be fair to say that it feels like being suspended, or no?
It is a little bit of a, like in the fucking, it's a shitty reference, but in the Adam Sandler movie Click, where he was there, he was alive the whole time, experiencing life.
Example.
But you're just,
Autoplay,
you're just there. Yeah, you have been existing, you are going through the motions, you are not perceiving anything.
Which is not recharging your battery at all. It's just that literal autopilot. So there's no benefit to you.
Yeah.
I think there's
no benefit at all, which is the thing, is you think, there can't be any downside, because then you're not having to deal with the pain of society, but at the same time you're not getting the benefits of it. And that's another thing that I've been trying to do this year, is accept the negative of the world in whatever capacity it shows itself to me, so that I can also feel the joy and whatever else. Which is, it's a weird realization to come to a little bit.
I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, how can this fella help himself? Because feeling somebody else's sadness for an extended period of time doesn't sound like a good thing for anybody.
No, but not everyone is constantly mired in their sadness. People that are sad will also have periods of enjoyment. They'll have other things. And so I follow with them. I'll still feel the underlying tones of whatever they're feeling, but I'm on board for the journey in whatever they're doing. Not all the time. Not that I physically feel all that I'm connected to all around me, but I do kind of, because people that I'm close to, like family and stuff, I can tell if they're fucking sad without texting them or anything. I'll just feel a little bit and I'll be like, anything going on? It's like, oh yeah, fucking whoever just died. Oh, that fucking blows. Or I still remember the time that I, this is getting a little bit into like, not conspiracy theory, but that kind of territory, like witches and energy and cryptids and things that I also believe in. I love aliens and all those other weird bullshit, but it's getting into mythical territory. So one time,
do you believe in centaurs?
I mean, no, they can't exist, right? Horse humans? Oh, people do fuck horses. I don't know. Inconclusive. But one time when I was younger, my parents were, going through their divorce, whatever they were doing, but I was still very emotionally attached to my family, because what else do you do when you're like fucking 9 or 10 years old? And so I was hanging out with my dad and my sister, and we were all going to the beach and having fun. We get to the beach, and I was like, no, it's not a fun time right now. Like, I don't want to have fun. I don't feel right. We got to go home. And they were like, what? What the fuck are you talking about? Like, we're just about to have fun right now. And I'm like, yeah, it's not the time. Let's get the fuck out of here. And we go home, and I find out my mom was in the hospital. Like, she had some sort of like freak out or like panic attack or heart attack or whatever the fuck it was. I never really found out because my family didn't tell me because I was small. But we had a voicemail when we got home of like, hey, she's in the fucking hospital. And so like, I felt that from miles away.
I don't think that stuff's to be disvalued at all. And human beings think that they're so damn smart. And I'm not disvaluing us humans either, but there is so much that we don't know. As if we don't have an answer for it right now, just,
Yeah.
Not even put it under the rug, just like knock it off the table as if it's not even on the floor now. Mm-hmm. So whether how much somebody has to contribute to that or not, I think it's very worth listening to.
Yeah, so I feel like I have an emotional ability. I can feel not beyond regular feeling, but I am feeling. I can feel with others. which is a thing that I wasn't doing for a long time. And I feel like it started around middle school, when you kind of just have to conform. I used to cry all the fucking time. Like, I was such a crier. I'm starting to get that again, which feels nice. It feels nice to let it go. But, if somebody was mean to me at all, like one time...
And you could have squashed him, too.
I could have, because I was like a 6'2" middle schooler, but I wouldn't because I don't like violence and meanness. But one time, some kid threw some little thing at my head, like maybe an eraser or like a tiny rock, not enough to really hurt me at all. I was a giant fucking kid with a thick skull, but he hit my ear a little bit, and I was sad that he would want to hurt me. I was just like crying a bunch, and there were people around me like, the fuck's wrong with you? And I was like, oh, I'm not supposed to feel anymore. And it was like that coupled with moving constantly, military families. So I fucking...
You were military family?
Yep. And so I was, 12, 13 around that time. So I realized, I need to not feel so much because...
You were Army?
My dad was Coast Guard, which is all the Hawaii and Alaska back and forth.
That's why you were in Hawaii. I'm like, why the fuck did you leave? Now makes sense.
Yeah, and so that was where I learned society, or at least fucking middle schoolers, don't value emotion because emotion is weakness. And so I would kind of just not. I would just not feel because people don't want that. And also moving away from everything that I knew also hurt at the same time. So I was like, I don't want to feel this. Let's not. And so, in high school, I was hanging out with the theater kids because I know that I'm a dramatic fucking person. But I was still a very bland person most of the time because because I didn't feel. Yeah, I just didn't want to feel. So I was there. I was fun. I was manic sometimes because I was holding in all this fucking tension of feeling all the time.
That's really hard.
And I hung out with other dramatic people because I felt like they could understand me, and so I made friends with other types like that. And it wasn't until very recently, after all these other things, that I realized, I'm still that feeling person, and I need to get back into it because, again, if I'm not feeling, I'm not experiencing. And so I have to... I feel like this was a thing that I went into last year when I realized I was just kind of getting angry. I was just kind of being bitter about stuff. I was not feeling the day-to-day of bullshit and doing whatever I was doing. My creating was the only thing that helped me feel like I was expressing myself, but everything I was writing was very mired in some sort of bitterness or something.
Am so alone.
Exactly. Literally, that's all I would sing about.
I am so utterly alone.
That's all my songs. That's all my songs have ever been with my fucking band and all my comedy.
And I'm sure that there's truth in that.
Yeah, and it was me experiencing the need to not be alone. And how do you do that? By fucking feeling, by valuing yourself and saying, I have something to offer other people, and I need to reach out to the world around me to feel like there are others that want me. And so now I'm in a place where I think feelings are valuable, and having others in your life that you value are of course valuable. We need friendships, and we need... Oh, fuck. I just popped my leg. We need others around us to feel at all in anything. If you don't have friends, you don't have anything. And I know other people can have a hard time feeling or whatever from whatever trust issues they can have with others. But if you don't feel, it can be more detrimental than some shitty friends. And eventually you'll find better friends. That just happens. You kind of just leapfrog around to groups until you find those one or two people that you feel really fucking get you. And you can say, this person, this is one of my people. And you kind of make those relationships because... It's healthy. It's a healthy thing to do to find your people, I guess.
Why do you think I'm here, Bobby?
Am I a people? Yeah, and so that's my soapbox. Feel more, even if you can't. I'll feel for you. It's cool.
I feel like we need a caller, caller one.
Yeah, let's do a caller one.
Bobby, I know
And
just
actually,
how you feel.
This is the length of the podcast. This has been such a good discussion. I haven't gotten to any of the stupid let's play Mad Libs or some shit.
Mad Libs?
This is
Fuck your Mad Libs.
Exactly. That's why sometimes this becomes kind of a chore, because I put a fucking podcast out every week on top of writing songs, on top of doing comedy.
I don't know what it is with you, Bobby. I tell you I'm wonderful over and over and over again, and you keep acting surprised every time I'm wonderful.
It's weird to me that other people can be cool.
True words.
And that's why it's hard to find those people. I'm just now, again, because I've only started feeling very recently, and also appreciating myself enough to appreciate others recently, that I'm like, people like me, and that's okay.
I have been summoned. Here I am.
It's true. You got lost as shit getting here, and you're still here. You drove through a gold mine.
You had to bring that up, Bobby.
I did.
You had to bring that up.
I did.
That I got lost with my own goddamn GPS.
You were an hour and a half late. But
Damn it, Bobby! You had to girl shame me.
You came bearing honey, and that's fine.
Wow.
You brought gifts of frankincense and myrrh on this wonderful journey.
I brought honey. I did, everybody. He's actually quite literal right now.
It was very tasty. I ate some, and I'm going to use it as honey should be used, rather than making it into alcohol, because it was an experiment to do with the other honey that I had.
Were you hoping that it would be sugar?
No, I'm trying to cut that from my diet, actually.
It is actually really good honey. I'm quite proud of that. I was
very tasty.
When I got freaking lost, it was actually really gorgeous. I literally had to do a damn U-turn because I went the way I normally come to Nevada instead of out here in Sparks near downtown Reno.
Yep.
And it was really gorgeous, and anybody who really knows me knows that I love gold. I like the way it feels. I like the way it looks. I like the way it shines. I don't like the price. When I started, when I had been in fine jewelry, the price of gold was like $400, and now it's gone to like $1,500. So,
damn.
Yeah, it's stupid. It is stupid. I love gold, but I don't think that it's worth it at any cost. But I got to go through 2 separate gold towns, and I went past this winery area a little bit before Nevada, and there was this local honey, and I asked them, which honey do men mostly like? And he's like, men just like honey. So I chose the bottle. I just chose the bottle that looked most giftable, and
it's fancy. It's got a cork in it.
It does.
And also, I think I've said this on the podcast before too. I just like being thought of in any capacity. I just like all gifts, so that it just makes me happy to receive.
That gift is born of that statement.
Yeah. Well, that's the fucking end of the podcast, I guess. We talked, just like we planned, talked a lot about me, dissected more stuff. I feel really like I covered more ground on myself than I do with my therapist and shit, because we only get 30-minute sessions with her, so it's spotty.
It's me.
Yep.
It's ATK. I'm wonderful. It's a fact.
So, I mean, do you have any things you want to plug, either of your own variety, or just things you dig in the world? Do you want to just shout out some other people, or tell people to fucking donate to charity or some shit? Whatever you got going on, or whatever you like, this is your time to shine.
All right, so ATK is moving to Cincinnati, Ohio. You're going to see me on some open mics, and then I expect the next few months after that, because she is a busy girl. ATK is a busy girl. You'll see me at some more scheduled performances. I would also like to say there's a lot going on in the USA right now. A lot going on. Some government agencies getting away with too much that they really shouldn't be. I reach out to the Christians and non-Christians. Please write to your congressperson. And I know that you've heard this before, but really, if there's anything that you really want done in the United States, is write your congressperson. If you want the TSA to stop filling up 4-year-olds, you contact your congressperson. If you want them to stop separating families at the border, contact your congressperson. If you want endless amounts of honey and you think it should be free through the state, contact your congressperson.
Hell yeah.
But if there's anything really that you want, contact your congressperson, and you're going to see ATK in Cincinnati, Ohio, and every 3.5, 4 months or so, you might see me in Reno and San Francisco. ATK.
Whoop,
ATK. ATK.
ATK. Feel it. I don't think I have anything to plug. Let's see. What fucking day is it? Okay, yeah, no, I got a show in Carson City coming up, August 24th, down at Shoe Tree Brewing Company. Come check out Sad Giants, as well as Blunderbuss and Deadly Gallows. We're going to be giving away free Otter Pops, because what else do you do in the summer? I think it's a free show. I don't fucking know.
You want to know how I got these scars?
Otter Pops. Fucking cut your shit up.
That's not my joke, by the way. I just hope it's famous enough that
So that people will
I don't have to
understand
say
the
it's a
reference.
quote.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think I'm going to be raiding Area 51, September 20th.
Woo!
Not really, but my band is playing in Caliente, Nevada. Or maybe not Caliente. Somewhere. We're doing like the opening of some lodge that also has like mountain bikes and stuff. But it's also near Area 51. Not really, but closer than I am now. And I'm just going to be on Instagram Live the whole time telling people I'm going to raid Area 51. So hopefully the government shoots at me. We'll see how that goes.
Bobby's funny. Come see Bobby Benedict.
Yeah, no one has me booked on any shows because they don't. I haven't been around that much. I stopped entertaining for a second to really look at myself and figure out what the fuck was going on. But I'm pretty fucking funny, so book me for shit. Humans that listen to this podcast and hopefully have the power to book things. If not, I'm just gonna go elsewhere and book my own shit in bars or something. Who the fuck knows?
And remember to bring him gifts.
Bring me gifts. I like shit. It doesn't even matter what it is. One time someone just left flowers at my door. That was super nice. Thanks, Cheryl. You're a sweetie. What else is there? Fucking... I don't know. That's about all. Any closing remarks? That's all I could ask.
I'm glad you like my honey, Bobby.